We like to tell ourselves a story about where we came from. It's a comfortable story. It says we started with stones, moved to bronze, then iron, and finally we reached the pinnacle, the world of silicon and satellites. But every once in a while, the Earth gives up a secret it was never supposed to share. A secret that suggests we aren't the first geniuses to walk this planet, just the latest. I'm Red, and today we aren't just looking at history, we're looking at the glitches, the 20 discoveries that proved our ancestors were playing a game we didn't even know existed. Pull up a chair, turn down the lights. We're going back in time.
1. The Antikythera Mechanism.
Imagine it's 1901. A sponge diver named Elias is shivering on the deck of a boat near Greece. He's just come up from 60 meters down, and he's pale. He tells his captain he found a heap of dead men, but they weren't men, they were bronze statues, and tucked among them was a green, corroded lump. For 50 years, it sat in a box. Then an X-ray changed everything. Inside that rock were 30 bronze gears. It was a computer. It predicted eclipses, tracked the stars, and even counted down to the next Olympics. It is 2,000 years old. It's like finding a jet engine in a horse carriage. The question isn't what it did, it's who built it, and where did that knowledge go for the next 1,500 years?
2. The Baghdad Battery.
In the dry soil of Iraq, archaeologists found a jar, just a simple clay pot with a copper cylinder and an iron rod. It looked like trash, but when you fill it with vinegar, it produces a steady, humming electric current. Think about that. While we were told the ancient world was lit by flickering oil lamps, were they actually using the hum of electricity to plate their gold? Or perhaps to give divine shocks to the faithful in darkened temples? The spark of life is older than we think.
3. The Lycurgus Cup. In the 4th century, a Roman artisan made a glass cup. In the daylight, it's a dull, earthy green. But pour wine into it or light it from within, and it glows a bloody, vibrant red. This wasn't magic. In the 1990s, we looked at the glass under a microscope. We found silver and gold particles ground down to 70 nanometers. That is nanotechnology. The Romans were manipulating the very building blocks of matter. How do you do that without a lab? Maybe they didn't need one.
4. The Saqqara bird. A small wooden bird found in an Egyptian tomb in 1898. It was tossed into a box labeled toys. But look at the tail. Birds have horizontal tail feathers. This has a vertical rudder, exactly like a modern glider. In wind tunnels, this shape has perfect lift. Was it a child's toy? Or was it a blueprint for something that actually flew over the dunes of Giza? 5. Göbekli Tepe. 1994, Turkey. A researcher named Klaus Schmidt is walking a hill that locals call Belly Hill. He sees a flint. Then he sees a pillar. This temple is 11,600 years old. That means it was built 6,000 years before the first city. It's a massive stone cathedral built by people who, according to us, didn't even know how to grow wheat yet. It turns history on its head. It means we didn't settle down and then find God. We found God and then we had to build a world to sustain the prayer.
6. The Kailasa Temple. This isn't a building. It's a mountain that was uncarved. Deep in India, workers started at the very top of a basalt mountain and carved downward. They removed 400,000 tons of rock with nothing but chisels. They didn't make a single mistake. One slip of the wrist and the whole temple would be ruined. They didn't build it, they revealed it.
7. The Nazca Lines. In the high deserts of Peru, there are giants, spiders, monkeys, and hummingbirds etched into the earth. They are so large you can only see them from a plane. But the Nazca people didn't have planes 1,500 years ago. So who were they drawing for? Did they have a way to leave the earth? Or were they just waving at someone in the stars? 8. The Great Pyramid Voids.
We think we've explored every inch of the pyramids. We were wrong. In 2017, scientists used muons, cosmic particles from deep space, to see through the stone. They found a void, a massive secret hall 30 meters long, hidden right above the Grand Gallery. It hasn't been touched in 4,500 years. It's a room without a door. What or who is waiting inside?
9. Pompeii. August 24th, 79 AD. A Tuesday. A baker is putting bread in the oven. A dog is barking in a courtyard. Then, the mountain screamed. Vesuvius didn't just destroy life, it paused it. When we found it centuries later, we found people frozen in ash. We found their graffiti, their snacks, their fears. It is the most haunting hello from the past, a reminder that one day you're buying bread, and the next, you're a museum exhibit.
10. The Terracotta Army. A farmer in China was digging a well in 1974. He didn't find water. He found an eye, a stone eye. He had stumbled upon 8,000 soldiers, every single one with a different face, guarding a tomb filled with rivers of liquid mercury. They were an army built for the afterlife, and for 2,000 years they stood in total silence, waiting for a shovel to wake them up.
11. The Dead Sea Scrolls. A lost goat and a bored shepherd boy. He throws a rock into a cave, hears the clack of breaking pottery, and finds the oldest words of the Bible. These scrolls sat in the dark for 2,000 years, surviving the rise and fall of empires, just waiting for a curious boy to throw a stone.
12. The Rosetta Stone. For 1,500 years, the Egyptian language was a wall of pretty pictures that no one could read. Then, Napoleon's soldiers found a slab of stone in the mud. It had one message in 3 languages. It was the key. It finally let the pharaohs tell their own story instead of us guessing for them. It turned a silent civilization into a roar.
13. Mohenjo-Daro. Imagine a city 4,000 years ago with indoor plumbing, street grids, and a massive public bath. It was cleaner than most of Europe in the 1800s. And then, everyone just checked out. No war, no plague, just empty streets and advanced drains. Where'd they go? Maybe they just realized they were too far ahead of their time.
14. Troy. Everyone told Heinrich Schliemann he was a fool. They said Troy was a fairy tale, a poem by Homer. But he used the Iliad as a map. He dug in Turkey and found the charred remains of a city. He proved that myths aren't just stories. They are the scarred memories of things that actually happened.
15. The Sangzingdu Masks. In 1986, China gave up a secret. Bronze masks with huge, bulging eyes and pointed ears. They don't look like any other Chinese art. They look alien. This entire civilization appeared, made these terrifyingly beautiful things, and then vanished without leaving a single written word behind.
16. The Code of Hammurabi. An eye for an eye, a 7-foot-tall pillar of black stone. This was the first time a king told his people, the law is not just my whim, it is written in stone. It is the DNA of every courtroom on Earth today. It was the moment we decided to be a society instead of a mob.
17. Sutton Hoo. A ship in a field. In 1939, an Englishwoman asked an amateur to dig up the mounds on her land. He found a 90-foot ghost ship filled with gold and Byzantine silver. It proved the Dark Ages were actually glittering with light and global trade. We weren't struggling in the mud. We were masters of the sea. 18. The Lascaux Caves. 4 teenagers followed their dog into a hole and found the world's first movie theater. 17,000-year-old paintings that use the curves of the cave to create 3D effects. In the flickering light of a torch, these animals look like they are running. We've always been storytellers. We just changed the screen. 19. Machu Picchu. The Spanish never found it. Hidden at 8,000 feet, this Incan city is built of stones that dance. They don't use mortar. They fit together so perfectly that during an earthquake, they vibrate and fall back into place. It's a city that breathes with the mountain. 20. The Voynich Manuscript.
Our final stop is a book, 600 years old. It's filled with plants that don't exist and stars we can't find. No one can read it. Not the world's best code breakers, not AI, not anyone. It is a message from the past that we can hold in our hands, but we are simply not smart enough to understand. Yet. 20 shards of a broken mirror. Each one tells us the same thing. We aren't the first to be great. We are just the latest version of a species that builds wonders and then forgets how we did it. What are you going to leave behind? In 1,000 years, will someone find your phone and call it a ritual object? Or will they find your city and wonder why we built things that didn't last as long as the stone? The archive is never truly closed. There's always another shovel, another cave, another secret. If you've stayed with me this long, you're the reason I make these. Smash that like button and tell me, which discovery makes you feel the smallest? I'm Red, and the past is never truly gone. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.